Jim, the floor is all yours, my friend.
Thanks, buddy. Hey, you know, a little bit of lawn chair bassin here is always a bit of fun out in the back here at night. And when I come down here, I treat this just like just as if you're out in the boat. This time of the year now, what's happened in the last few days here is all the slop and the scum has just dissipated. We haven't had any really cold nights, but it's just dissipated, and it's getting at a time now where the for a while here on most of this, you're putting away your frogs and stuff like that, and you're going to want to use lures that run horizontal. I'm probably not going to fish down here with a jig. I'm going to fish with a chatterbait. I'm going to fish with a spinnerbait, perhaps a crankbait, a shallow rudder, a square bill. Swim jig becomes huge at this time of the year, but you want something that goes horizontal. So when you're fishing, you're making your cast and you're bringing it back. Yeah, let it sink a little bit, give it a little bit of movement. I can just feel that thing just vibrating away there for all it's worth. But just, you know, bring it back. You're trying to cover now. The fish aren't sitting down there now looking around and wondering what's above them. They're looking all around them now because all that cover overhead is gone. And what happens as soon as that's gone, you get an immediate growth of weed. You'll see there's pieces of weed here I'm pulling up. It's only been 2 or 3 days the slop's been gone, and there's already 2 or 3 inches of bright green weed on top of the brown stuff that have been covered for, wow, probably the last 10 weeks out here. It's been like this slopped in really early. And, you know, we're just talking about one small spot, but you apply this if you're out in the boat, if you're fishing off the bank, you know, stuff like that. You could still catch a lot of big fish, but you got to pay attention to the season. You got to do the same things, whether you're sitting in a lawn chair or you're in a boat. And everything that you're going to want to do, the vast majority of it is going to be horizontal. I'm not saying that if you're out in the boat and you come to a nice clump of weed and you look at it, there's a big boulder beside it. Well, man, I'm fighting to get the jig and drop it in there. But for the most part, this is chunking and winding season for a while, and that's all we're going to do. We're going to fish horizontal. Right over it, I just felt a bit of weed there. Just give it a little rip away from the weed. That's one of the nice things about braided line. You get a bit of weed, quick pop like that, and it's gone. Really, really changed fishing. I don't know how many of you people remember back, you know, when all we had was mono. And man, when braided line came along, so many more fish got caught because people would feel the fish. When I used to guide, the number of times in my life that I reached over and grabbed the rod and gave it a pull for a client and said, there, you got a fish on there, you know, because they just didn't feel it with mono. But covering water's the name of the game, whether you're in a boat or you're in a little bay like this here. I just have this, you know, like one cast out there, 50, 60, 70 feet maybe. That's all you got. So you sort of use it, you cover it, you cycle through a bunch of different baits. Like I've got a square bill here, I've got a spinner bait, and a swim jig. And you know, basically those 4 things are what's gonna do it for you. But you got to cover all the water. You know, a night like tonight here, we've been down here for a little while now. We haven't seen much going on. There's another guy up the shore here, caught a couple of little runts on a plastic worm. But it's you know, it's just one of those things, man. It's the time of year, and I'll tell you one thing. This is the time of day right now. But we had some monster storms today, and that may have put them off. But right at dark like this, if you get a chance, it's really the time to get out and do this. And remember, fish horizontal. Cover the water really, really good. Be sure to fish horizontal. And like I mentioned, can't stress this enough. You can fish way too fast a lot of times. Right now, it's kind of hard to fish too fast. They're you know, the water's still warm. They are going to come and get it, and you just need to get out there and do it, and you can have a lot of fun. Now let's see if we can catch you a fish here now. shore fishing little spots along the edge.
And I like to take my time, and like you were saying, I read the water I'm coming into. I don't just go, chase over to the one thing that caught my eye. I come into the bay, I float in very slowly, kind of like look around, you know. Because the worst thing to do is race over to one spot that you think is really good, and you paddle right over top. Or
oh, I talk about that pad fishing with people, frog fishing.
yeah.
The way they go in, they see a patch of pads the size of the slop here. They roll over and they throw right into the back of it. Well, why don't you fish the edge? You know, work your way into it. There's a lot more chance of you getting some good bites that way, because you catch a 2-pounder on the first cast, and what do? You drag them across all that stuff, and you get all the rest of the fish wound up, spooked. Nothing beats the first cast, boy. There you go. Boy, did he track that down. There we go, in true lawn chair bassin style, the last minute.
Where'd you get that on, Jim?
Oh, my buddy Mark LaBelle at Weapons of Bass Destruction up in Petawawa. There's the proof, buddy.
Damn. Hit it right hard. Man, that hooks
Oh,
out
you
was
saw
nice.
the swirl, eh?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's 2 chatterbait rods in the Loomis series. And it was really cool for me to get to be present when they designed these rods. But let me get this guy back in the water. So he's happy out there. No giant, but when you ain't getting bit, they all count.
Absolutely wonderful.
See you later, buddy. This is the heavier of the 2 rods. You can see the handle's brand new. That's the first fish I caught with the rod. The reason that there's 2 rods is that one is a much lighter action, and it's meant for more like, I would use it more for smallmouths and a lot more open water here. You saw the weed. You need the heavier rod, and that's the reason why I got the heavier one this year. And you know, these rods that they've come up with, like this is an IMX Pro, ones that are, you know, technique specific. A lot of people say to me, do you really need this? Yes, you do. You really do, because the number of times that you see you're using these technique specific rods, and we're also going to talk later about crankbait rods and the flex and stuff, but there's just different actions and things that throw the lures better. They retrieve them. And something that I like to look at too is, how many fish have I lost on a rod? Like if I got a new rod and I was fishing, say, a spinnerbait, and I lose like 6 or 7 of the first 10 fish that I catch, I'm not going to like that as a spinnerbait rod anymore. I may catch the next 100, but you know, fishing is a mental game too.
What do you got for a reel on that rod?
Yeah, I was just going to say, which one is this? Is this the XLT? Yeah, it's an XT. So I've got an SLX XD on there too. And you know, a lot of people say to me, they see me fishing with Metaniums and Chronarchs and, you know, top end Shimano reels, but you don't have to have the top end reel to be successful. Now this rod, you know, it's a top end rod, but the reel, you know, almost anybody that fishes can afford it. Well, I want to catch another fish.
You got yourself a busy weekend, Jim?
Nope.
No?
I was starting to